Hey, Weekday Devotioners. It is Pastor Paul here. And as we continue, as I've been talking through the different names for God, there's another name that I want to look at today, and that name is Elyon, and it means the Most High God. And the reason that's important is because there can only be one most of something. So if we say um, this body of water is the most full, well, there might be a lot of other bodies of water, but only one of them is the most, or this person is the most powerful person in the world. Well, there's other people that are powerful, but only one of them can be most. And so when God's word says that he is the most high God, there is no one else compared to his power and his authority. And so, what is God the most at? I wrote down a few things. He is the most powerful, most perfect, wise, kind, good, faithful, generous, happy, patient. Like he is the most in all of these things, right? He is El Elyon, the most high. Nobody else is higher than him in these. So in God's Word, there's actually quite a few instances, but I'm just going to look at one today, where somebody tried to make himself as high as God, or he wanted to say that he was the most high. And actually, Isaiah chapter 14, get my Bible here, refers to this. And in Isaiah 14, not exactly sure if some commentaries think that this is Satan saying this, and some commentaries say that this was the king of Babylon saying this. It doesn't specifically say, but it says in Isaiah 14, verse 13, says, "You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly. In the far reaches of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and I will make myself like the Most High," is what it says. So this person wanted to take God's place and be the Most High, but we know that that's not possible. It's not realistic, right? God doesn't, and one of the other names we looked at a God, Elkanah, he's a jealous God. He doesn't share his glory with anyone else, right? So, but then in verse 15, it says this. Isaiah 14:15, it says, "But you are brought down to Sheol, to the far reaches of the pit." So that's what happens when somebody tries to make themselves as high as God. And actually, this is what we see with King Nebuchadnezzar as well in the book of Daniel, in chapter 4, verse 30. Let me turn there. You know, King Nebuchadnezzar with Daniel, it says this in 4 verse 30. It says, "And the king answered," so he's outside on the top of his palace. He's walking around looking at all of his stuff, and he says, "Is not this great Babylon, which I have built with my mighty power as a royal residence for the glory of my majesty," is what King Nebuchadnezzar says. And then it says in verse 31, "While the words were still in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken. The kingdom has departed from you, and you shall be driven from among men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and you shall be made to eat grass like an ox, and 7 periods of time shall pass over you, until you know that the Most High, El Elyon, rules the kingdom of men, and gives it to whom he will." That's what it says, okay? So he thought that he didn't need God. He thought that he himself was God. But what happened to him? He was humbled. He was humbled like that. Until he confessed that only God himself is El Elyon, the Most High. And it says this in verse 34. Says, "At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven, and my reason returned to me, and I blessed the Most High, El Elyon, and praised and honored him who lives forever." That's who deserves the real glory and power and authority. Only God. There's only one who is the most, right? We think that our leaders and rulers in different governments have power and authority, but they are not the most powerful. Only God is the most powerful. Our presidents and elected officials might make rules that make life easier or better or harder or worse or whatever, but they don't always make the best decisions, right? Why is that? It's because they have sinful natures, right? They don't know the beginning from the end. But what do we know about Elyon, the Most High? He is always good and he's always right. That is comforting, right? The one who actually has the most powerful or has the most power is always good and always right. And it says in Psalm 47, let me turn here, Psalm 47. There we go, I had it right here. There we go. Psalm 47, verses 1 and 2 says, "Clap your hands, all people. Shout to God with loud songs of joy. For the Lord, the Most High, El Elyon, is to be feared, a great king over all the earth." So the psalmist is saying, there's only one who is the Most High, and he's saying, clap your hands and shout for joy. He's like, be happy, be joyful, because the one who is the Most High, who has the power and authority over everything, he's always good. He's always right, right? That is comforting to me. Hopefully it's comforting to you. And so today, is there something that you're fearful about? Something that you're anxious about? Something that makes you sad or scared or angry? Remember that thing is not bigger and not more powerful than God. There's only one El Elyon, and that is the Lord in heaven, right? So be encouraged by that today. El Elyon, the Most High God. Love you, church family. See you soon.